I feel like we've been expecting this for the entire offseason. The Giants last year sent a third-round pick to the Las Vegas Raiders. They paid more than $11 million last year. They got 52 catches for 552 yards and 1 touchdown. In, I think, 11 or 12 games, there were hamstring issues for Darren Waller. That's been a chronic problem for him.
Definitely.
He has officially announced his retirement after 8 NFL seasons. They get some cap space this year, but they don't have the player that they bargained for. And, hey, look, people are going to dump on Joe Shane, the Giants GM, but some risks are worth taking.
That's right.
And Darren Waller, if it had worked out, it would have been a great move. And you can't say it was a horrible move because you didn't know the guy was only going to play one more year.
No.
Stuff happens. Plenty
Stuff
of third-round picks never even make the field.
You're right about that too. It's another good point to taking a chance on that. But yeah, there was risk reward. We know that. Right? That was the big thing. There was a lot of information out there that, okay, yeah, he's got leg problems, knee issues, right? Something that's like has to be managed. Okay? We knew at the time. It felt dicey. I mean, he had, we all wondered. One, wait, why are the Raiders trading him? That was kind of like, wait, the Raiders in year 2 of evaluating Darren Waller, right? And in year 1, I remember telling you, right, because I knew Josh McDaniels and some of those coaches out with the Raiders, right? We did the Hall of Fame game that year. That was the Josh Jacobs played a bunch that year, right? I can remember being on the field pregame there that day. And, of course, there was a lot of New England guys on that coaching staff and with the Raiders, and they couldn't get over Darren Waller. Like, Darren Waller is one of the greatest specimens we've ever seen. He might be one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen. And this echoes what John Gruden was saying about him before that regime was there. And, his career ended as far as the Raiders head coach. So this is a supreme talent is what I'm trying to say. And sometimes with that, and there's a little injury, risk there, you take a chance. And they felt like, again, last year, not a ton of offensive weapons. Who's going to be a guy for us at receiver? They went in on Darren Waller. Yeah, it came back to bite them in the butt. There's no doubt about it. They didn't get their money's worth or what they traded and what they paid them for the stats you talked about. But I think it's one that, hey, it's tough to swallow, but they swallow it nonetheless because they went, we took a shot for a guy that has a chance to be a superstar. It didn't work out. His knee's not going to hold up, and, he's got to move on with life.
At his best, he really was something. Back-to-back seasons of more than 1,100 receiving yards, 2019 and 2020 with the Raiders, and he exploded onto the scene. He hadn't done much of anything in the NFL his first few years. He was with the Ravens 2015, 2016, hardly did anything statistically.
Developing.
2018,
look at the development.
6 catches for 75 yards, and then boom, off it went in 2019. That's where it really took off. 2019, it really exploded with 1,145 yards, and then 2020, 1,196. And after that, injuries became the issue, and he started to fall off. When he plays, he contributes and plays well, and he decided the time had come to move on. It's unfortunate, but, plenty of guys realize, and there was a while that some in the media would try to seize on guys choosing to retire at a fairly early age as some trend that football's falling apart and guys are walking away. And, this guy retired and that guy retired, and they're choosing to. Some guys make the deliberate choice. I remember when Robert Smith did it 20 years ago. I want to walk away from football while I can still walk.
Right. Or like Barry Sanders. I mean, again, it's easy to say those things when you're a fan. It's a little different when you got to put the pads on every day and go hit people and get out of bed and go, damn. And, you start to recognize little things in everyday normal life where you go, wait, like when I go up the stairs, holy crap, it's a workout for me. This is concerning. Damn, when I bend over to play with my little kid, I'm like, it takes me 35 seconds to get down to the ground and get on my knees and play with them, right? So those things start to all of a sudden, you're getting mature, you're getting wiser, they start to hit home. Let alone with a guy like Darren Waller, and I think his situation too, you're exhausted by the constant management of, let me see if I can get this knee good for a Friday practice. Let me see if I can get this knee good and maybe play in the game, right? And it's just this constant battle, struggle, and it wears on you mentally. That's where I think, the players at some point just go, okay, that's it. I've done my best. My body's breaking down, and I don't want to. Again, football is such a short part of your life. My dad played 15 years. He'll tell you, damn, who remembers that career anymore? So long ago. It was such a quick part of your life. There's more to life, and guys are, becoming more knowledgeable of that type of stuff.
That's the Chuck Noll line, your life's work, that football is just a temporary phase, and after you retire from the game, you get on to your life's work because that is where the bulk of your life is going to be lived, doing something other than playing football. So,
here's the one thing of it. I'll bring up, Mike, because I thought of you, and because you say this a lot, right, with and with these type of situations. The one thing where I was like, where if I was, I'm a Giants fan, whatever. I remember thinking of this at the time. Like, man, teams don't just give away guys like this for third-round picks, right? The Raiders were more than just, we're a little concerned about where this knee might go and the management of that. Again, that's what, part of what I was saying a minute ago. It's two staffs in a row who wax poetically about a guy like, wow, this is one of the greatest specimens we've ever seen. And, of course, one of those staffs came from just coaching a tight end in Rob Gronkowski, where this is maybe the greatest specimen you've ever seen, right? Those guys don't get thrown out the door for nothing. That most teams will go to every last, bit they can to make that work with that type of talent. That would be the only thing that, is questionable in my world of following the sport and following the trade and my G-men.
Yeah, the Raiders have come a long way from when they gave up Randy Moss for a fourth-round pick to the New England Patriots. They're not nearly as dysfunctional as they were back then, so you have to be wondering what's going on here, what's wrong with this picture, why would they be
that's the only thing there.
Gladly surrendering such a talented player for a third-round pick.
Right.
But again, it was a roll of the dice for the Giants.
It was.
They had that equity that they built up by having a playoff season in 2022. You get a little bit of hubris. You're willing to burn some of the equity that you've acquired unexpectedly. And if it would have worked...
Yes, that's right, too.
Holy crap.
Hey, holy crap.
So,
right.
Don't be upset, Giants fans, because, again, we could go through the list of third-round picks over the years that never did jack diddly squat in the NFL. Also, there have been plenty of third-round picks that go to the Hall of Fame. When you give up that pick, you sacrifice the opportunity to bring in that guy who could become a great player. But still, at the end of the day, it's all a crapshoot. And sometimes when you trade for a veteran, there's an element of risk in it as well. The price tag implied that there was a calculated risk that the Giants were taking in bringing in Daniel Waller, who decided to retire after 1 year. And it may be that the Raiders were starting to hear some things from him that he wasn't going to play for very long, too. It may have been not just the injuries. It may have been they were starting to think this guy's a lot closer to the end of choosing to exit football than most people would realize. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.